And here we are, spawning at the bottom left. In the blue, he is the man from Busan, looking to put his team up on the board first. He is
Team NV, DRG.
And in the upper right, in the red, looking to stake his claim here to the kingdom. He is
Dragon Phoenix Gaming, ZEST.
By the way, I am really enjoying the race-themed player intros. The player intro voices. Just that little bit of extra something that's pretty cool. I mean, we saw that happen in GSL as well, but, well, the fact that they have three different voice actor, or three different, at least, voice modulations doing this is pretty cool. But anyways, as we look at head-to-head here, trying to figure out who has an advantage, well, it's not just my gut saying that ZEST has a massive advantage here. We look at head-to-head. Well, ZEST is they have ZEST at 65-35, which Legal says is a slight advantage. I don't know. I might make that a little bit more. But we did see our DRG in the previous series supposedly win a matchup that he was 30-70 against. I say supposedly because we saw it get to about 55 supply on either player, and then the stream broke and things came back, and it was just, you know, no idea what happened. All right, so not only does ZEST have a rather significant probability lead, right? You know, sitting at 75-25. Well, 75-25 to win a best of 3 in ZEST's favor, 65-35 to win a single map in ZEST's favor. All time, right? In terms of games, it's 55-33. ZEST has beaten DRG in 22 more maps than DRG has. And but in individual match wins, though, we see a similar advantage, right? It's 22-11. Plus 11 there for ZEST. So not only is ZEST in better form right now, ZEST has dominated the matchup over all time, and that shouldn't be surprising. I mean, ZEST was coming up as DRG was kind of falling down a little bit as he was getting ready to go to military, doing all that. He was no longer the scary player that we saw in Wings of Liberty in the start of Heart of the Swarm. So I guess we do have to take those results with a grain of salt, but it very much carries for games like this. For the current form of these two players, we've just seen DRG struggle in this meta, in this matchup more than really anything else. He likes Spire Tech, and that doesn't always really work very well against Stargate. And also the ground-based pushes that we see Protoss players do a good deal here. Now ZEST, for his part, this was Stargate into Warp Gate into Stargate. Stargate into Warp Gate. There we go. Void Ray into Oracle here. So your standard opener, it is. We should see a probe move on out rather soon, and ZEST probably takes his third base. There we go. Okay, third base underway here. Now, I was gonna say that there is another option that ZEST has been playing around with a little bit, where you go, you got a kind of 2.5 base carrier build. And it is really good if you get away with it, and ZEST actually has been able to get away with it a decent amount of times. But I'm not sure if he wants to show that now, and even more importantly, I don't know if it's as good as it was. There was something that he showed off really quickly, but it didn't take Solar all that long to figure out how to beat him. Luckily for ZEST, of course, Solar's not in this. Anyway, Void Ray is going to look to dive on into the natural, in the third base. One worker will die there, Oracle gets another. Both take significant damage. But look at this. ZEST has +1 air attack on the way, so he is very much going to lean into his air tech this game. This is not going to be a single Stargate into Charge Lot Archon Storm. We have the Forge on the way, but we have a second Stargate on the way as well. So ZEST, absolutely, he's going to look to get a higher than usual number of Void Rays. Getting +1 really early will mean that he's actually going to be in a much better position to make hold against any sort of. OBS decided it wanted to lose connection to Trover for a second, but we are back. Anyways, so where are we? Yeah, so +1 underway here. Void Rays as well. Lair is closer to being done than not done. Okay, so Hydra on the way here. Again, this is not, you don't get Hydras in this matchup. Not anymore. Not really. There are timings, of course, you can go for. There is Solar, when he saw ZEST doing the 2-base carrier build. Solar was actually going for the 2.5 base carrier build. Solar was going for these really interesting, like, Queen Hydra Nidus builds. As, well, the pylon will get targeted on down. But I don't know. DRG, he's getting 11 more workers here. This isn't really a big timing for him. He's going to go up to 78 workers. And he's going Hydraling Bane. And you know what? In general, I would hate this, but in this particular matchup, I actually don't. Because it's mass voids, right? There is +1 air attack already done, but we're not going to see Storm all that fast. We're not going to see Disruptors all that fast, although we do have a Robo Bay underway now. And that means Hydraling Bane can actually get something done. All right, so we have a lot of Void Rays on the ramp right now. Third Stargate underway, as well as we have that fleet beacon. So ZEST is going to get rather quickly into that scary Skytoss army. But here's the thing: Skytoss is not all that great without Storm, without some sort of splash underneath it to soak things up. And the Queens are walking. I don't know whether this is a actual Queen walk or whether this is just trying to get creep spread as far forward as possible. And by the way, this is insane creep spread. I mean, yes, ZEST hasn't been doing really anything to contest it, but the creep is now on ZEST's high ground, outside of ZEST's 4th base. This is the most developed creep spread at 730 I've seen in quite a while in this matchup. And it is absolutely going to help DRG maybe take a victory here. Is he sitting right around like 170, 164 supply as well? We're going to hopefully wait for that to clear on up. So there we go. Okay. Supply is now not at whatever number it is that is apparently censored in China. Okay, but now we got the Hydras. They're moving on into the 3rd base, but they shouldn't get a lot. Now, this wall is actually a bit of a problem because there are Disruptors here. Fine, valid, okay. Very useful. But the Disruptors can't actually do anything because the wall is blocking those Disruptor shots. So that's a bit of an interesting conundrum there. But ZEST is continuing to go, right? He's got 3 carriers underway now, a 4th Disruptor here. And I don't see DRG breaking ZEST with this army, which is a problem. Because we don't have an Infestation Pit, I don't believe. We certainly don't have a Hive. We certainly don't have any Vipers. And with that being the case, I mean, yeah, it's a big Hydra army. There are going to be Queens with this as well, Banelings, but there are 3 Disruptors on the map. This is a scary, scary Skytoss army, and there's enough splash here that these Hydras realistically should not be able to get too much done, as actually Queens are just going to suffer from Disruptor shots. And reminder, by the way, these are going to be +1 carriers. These are +1 voids. They do a lot more. They fight against this ground-based army a whole lot better. So now we're going to have shots going on off. The Disruptor shots are actually not going to be all that great. Baneling's just looking to roll on into that mineral line. And yeah, this entire mineral line should go down. Now the carriers are fighting. How many interceptors do we have on the map? I'm not totally sure. Disruptor shots going on top of the Queens. They're going to lose all of their health, all of their energy. The base is not even going to go down. Yes, ZEST lost 21 workers. Oh, but he didn't lose the base. And DRG has lost his entire army. And we're going up to 5 to 6 carriers. They have +1. ZEST is still on 57 workers. He is totally fine here. So now we have DRG looking to try to maybe kind of transition out of this, right? Infestation Pit on the way. He's getting +1 melee now. But again, the thing I'm worried about, and I think the trap that DRG has fallen into, is the reason that we don't see this style anymore, really at all. It's because you commit so much to Hydraling Bane. And because Protoss players have kind of figured out how to get into late game tech rather easily, you commit so much to high drilling Bane, as that Banelings will roll on in once again, that if you do not kill them with that one time, that incredibly slim timing that DRG tried to hit, you're just not going to kill them, because they're going to have +2 air attack, even +1 air attack, a lot of carriers, store, whatever splash damage they want, disruptors in this case. I wish game sounds were louder in this clean feed. It's a bit unfortunate, but so it goes. It's just not balanced well. Because if I was to turn the volume up, and then all the player intros and everything like that would just be blowing everyone's eardrums out. So it's unfortunate, but it's the world that we do live in. Anyway, so fourth base, 4 bases fully established here for ZEST. DRG trying to get on into that hive tech, so at the very least he can get some Vipers. ZEST, once again, he's on 74 workers. I mean, again, Chrono, 4 bases, you can get as many probes as you want. And I think ZEST is just going to look to move on out here with his 2-base timing. He's going to have a lot of... He's going to have... Okay, nice disruptor shot there. None of those Banelings are going to find their way on in. Now we're going to see some second shots on out. And, well, okay, the 4th base will die. Nice job there. Not even... Yeah, those Zerglings, not even with +1 melee. They're just going to kill off the base. But now ZEST is moving out on the map. And this is just this problem that we see so often. Oh, you know, losing those disruptors is going to be a problem, though. I was going to say, this is the problem we see so often in this matchup, where the Zerg does damage and they kill the base and they get workers and whatever, it's fine. And then the Protoss player moves it out. They're like, okay, well, I have a big scary Skydust army. I have +2 carriers, and you just can't fight my army. It doesn't matter whether you have more money, whatever. You just can't fight my army here. And there are plenty of interceptors. That being said, it looks like, yeah, it looks like DRG is actually breaking on through here just a little bit. Has he got all the splash before the move out? Really haven't. Does he have enough, though, to knock them all down to really reset things? I don't know if that answer is yes, it is not. The Queens are going to go on down here. The Hydra's go on down. The entire army of DRG is dead. ZEST still stands strong as he's going to move out. Once again, 5 carriers still on the map. Still some Void Rays as well. Looks like this base will get canceled. But ZEST has what he needs to knock this down. And that was very much a last-ditch effort there from DRG. It's going to be difficult for him to once again have enough Hydras, have enough Queens to really defend against this push. And it looks like ZEST is well poised to take the first map in this best of 2. The first map here in this grand finals. It's all Hydras that remain. They do not have Carapace. They do not last all that long. DRG with a hand to his head realizes that he does not have enough here in this game. And well, it may take a little bit longer, but DRG is absolutely dead here. Yes, he's going to keep denying that 4th base. Nice job there, but he can't deal with the carriers. And ZEST is still going to be pretty happy here, living on 3 bases for the time being. Now, it's going to take ZEST maybe a little while to kill off everything that DRG has, but no, that's going to be a GG. ZEST, he takes game 1. And here we are, game 2 in the upper left, in the blue, trying to match his opponent's win score. He is
Team NV, DRG.
And his opponent in the bottom right, in the red for Dragon Phoenix Gaming, up 1-0, trying to make it 2. He is
Dragon Phoenix Gaming, ZEST.
So Lightshade is a little bit less conducive to the type of build that we saw ZEST go for in game 1. You can't quite get away with that greedy of a Skytoss build. Lightshade is a lot smaller. But what I'm almost wondering here is whether we see one or both of these players throw something out that's a little bit faster. Okay, so the Skytoss build worked really well for ZEST in game number 1, right? He was able to defend. Yeah, he lost his 4th base, but it didn't matter at that point because he had a critical mass, he had enough carriers. But he was able to defend, get on into +2 carriers, run across the map, kill his opponent. In this game, I don't know if that's as likely, but I'm thinking we might see a glaive build. You might say, why would you do that, right? Glaive builds are not very good, and in this format where every map counts, where losing a single map means that you are dead and you don't get to go, you don't get to find your way back, you don't get to contribute to your team even more. Why would you do that? Because, well, I'm not talking about a 4-gate glaive. Right, 4-gate glaive is kind of a dead build. I mean, we still see it work occasionally, but in general, it's a dead build. I'm talking about 3-gate glaive with a quick third base into whatever you want. And that's actually a really cool build where the Zerg feels a little bit stuck because they're like, I can't commit as hard as I do to 3-gate because you got a base, and I'm going to put myself behind, but I need to commit to this to defend. But no, okay, so it's just going to be Warp Gate into Stargate instead. So just playing a little bit more of the trap style here. Now, whether this means this is going to be like a stats build or something where you go Warp Gate, Stargate, you get a Oracle, then you go into going into Temple Archives and Glaives really quickly, I'm not sure. But for the moment, Zest is not doing what I was cheering for, which, okay, fine, Zest. Make me sad, that's fine. All right, so now we got Oracle just about done here. Third base underway for Zest, getting it even a little bit faster than he normally would, right? Timing is 350, but he gets it 348. Slight efficiencies here, not really going to make that much of a difference, but, you know, worth pointing out maybe. And behind this, well, Warp Gate is done as well. So the question now is, what does Zest do with this Warp Gate? Okay, +1 air attack on the way as well. Zest is just effectively doing a very similar build to what he has done in Game 1. But it's a shorter map, so I don't know if it's going to work out quite as well here, but certainly he's got a shot. There we go. Okay, so we will see Stasis Trap attempted. Stasis Trap will just get killed on off. It's not going to freeze anything whatsoever. And Void Ray is going to get 1 kill. I'm not sure what that kill was, but he got something. All right, so again, the exact same build we saw in that previous game. Now, this is, of course, a shorter map, so it's not going to be quite as easy for Zest to defend against whatever DRG decides to do. And with this 430 Roach Warren, this does look like it will be a Queen Walk here coming from DRG. Now, he could opt to not do that. I think he had a Roach Warren at a similar timing and similar time layer and all that last game. But normally, this is looking like it's going to shape up to be a Queen Walk. Actually, no, never mind. DRG is going up to, he's going up to 60 outwork because he's not going to walk some queens. He may go for that Hydra style once again. I just don't like that. I don't think it's very good in the current meta. Certainly not against Stargate styles. It just hits too late. It hits at which point the Zerg or the Protoss normally has, either too much Sky Toss for the Hydras to fight well, or it hits, well, okay, you know what? Queens are walking. It's only 3 of them, though. Okay, they're just looking for the Oracle, and they will be unsuccessful. Anyway, with +1 melee on the way, this is going to be Hydra Drilling Bane, and once again, I do not expect this to work. I think Zest is going to be very, very okay dealing with this. His Void Rays are in the way. We don't see a Robo just yet. Oh, okay, never mind. Actually, I like this a lot more. So this is pretty cool. And this is something that we've seen Raynor do a little bit, seen Rogue do a little bit, and actually see DRG be at the forefront of this, and kind of Solar as well. The idea behind this build, right? Because we do see Aspire underway here. Generally, you go Mutas. You're like, okay, fine, Mutas are fun. What it does is it forces the Protoss player to not go into carries, not to go into those extremely expensive Sky Toss units that are so difficult for the Zerg to fight. So you go into Muta and then Corruptor, and you force your opponent to stay in Phoenix Void Ray. That being said, in this game, the Fleet Beacon is already down at 630, third Stargate as well, and these Mutas are not going to be nearly as impactful as they otherwise would be. So what we might see here is something that we've seen on occasion, is this build that goes and says, okay, well, I know you've seen me, whatever. I'm just going to go into Mass Corruptor behind this, and, well, I'm going to go into Mass Corruptor. I'm going to try to knock your Void Rays from the sky, and then I'm going to get a bunch of roaches on the ground, and I'm going to try to kill you that way. But Zest is just going Mass Void Ray. He's got +2 air attack on the way here. He has Flux Veins as well, and he's adding a bunch of gateways. So I don't know exactly what DRG wants to do. Okay, he will go mutas. But with +1 voids and flux veins done, I mean, these mutas are not going to be as effective as they might otherwise be against a bunch of void rays. But hey, 16 mutas are powerful. How many void rays do we have? I mean, we have a decent amount. Flux veins is done rather soon, so they will be able to react to things. And if there are shield batteries in the mineral lines, this is going to be a bit scary. And remember, even if the void rays, you know, they still struggle. I mean, it's still triple Stargate. It's still going to be it's still +1 air attack. It will be +2. Any sort of Phoenix transition is going to be extremely problematic here for DRG as he looks to, you know, have his mutas get good work. As there we go, that queen will go on down. But the mutas, they're flying across the map, and these have been unscouted, by the way. The first time that these mutas will be seen is when, really, when they broach the base here from ZEST. But look at so many void rays. All these queens are going to go on down. And then I think what we're going to see here... Okay, nice job bursting that down. So they're going to find their way in. We're going to see a recall coming on in, but most of those queens have died. And what's warping on in? A bunch of zealots just trying to deal with the zerglings. And void rays, again, these are +2 voids. They have speed. This is a very difficult position here for these mutas because even if they normally would be good, again, +1 is a powerful thing indeed. So zerglings, they're going to find their way on into the natural because I guess the zealots were not able to track that down quite well enough. And now the void rays, they are on the attack. They're on the map. And it's that much more difficult for the... for the mutas to really outmaneuver them. Now, of course, well, we do see zerglings in the main base. They got 8 workers. That is something, but ZEST does have his 4th base pretty much fully established. Now, 16 voids to 23 mutas. Not exactly a positive exchange there. I mean, if you have like 30 mutas or something to 20 voids, still worthwhile. But considering the upgrade disadvantage here, and considering the fact that these void rays can actually move around the map rather well, it's so difficult for the mutas to actually find any sorts of damage. But it's actually pretty funny. It is not common here whatsoever to see, oh yeah, I'm fighting mutas with the voids and I'm winning. It's not normally what you do. I feel like they turned game sense down, but okay, the mutas are going to try to double line backwards. A lot of them will die. Meanwhile, of course, the zerglings at the 3rd base at the 4th base are causing problems. They're dealing with the warpins rather easily. Now it looks like, okay, mutas on the 3rd. They will knock down these cannons, and that's going to be nice. But now the void rays are not going to be all that slow to join on up. I'm almost surprised that we don't see a Phoenix transition here from ZEST, but he's kind of realizing that effectively, if he just gets enough voids, there's nothing in the world that can stop him, and that's kind of fair, to be honest. So the void rays are out on the map. The mutas have been forced home just a little bit, and now we got to fight here in earnest. But the void rays cannot fight over top of these queens. There's just going to be too many transfuses. But now they're going to do that anyways. The mutas, they're going to try to do what they can. +2 air attack is done here for ZEST. So that means that, well, even if the mutas had that +1 attack and they were able to equalize things, well, they're going to die down here rather quickly. DRG is going to lose a lot of queens as well. More and more mutas being built, but a lot of mutas have died here. How many void rays do we have, though? That's really the question. I'm not totally sure. It looks like a lot of them are going down, but so are the mutas here. It's not a positive trade. And the queens will be forced back. The mutas will be forced back. Meanwhile, ZEST only on 53 workers, or 56 now. So he has taken some significant economic damage that he's been a little bit slow to recover from. So that's kind of the only bright spot that DRG is looking at this point. Because again, he can't really fight the voids. He has tried, but these are +2 void rays. There are 4 of them coming out at a time. They have speed. The mutas are just not doing very well. I would almost like to see infestors, I think. Right, because void rays do like to clump on up. Anyways, the mutas, they will find an exposed mineral line here once again. And, you know, it's kind of funny, right? The zerglings are really just doing the majority of the damage in this game. So they will snipe the 4th base down. So I'm kind of tracking this game in this idea of, well, can I fight the army? Or can DRG fight ZEST's army? Can ZEST fight DRG's army? And the answer is no for the most part. But now they're double mutas, two void rays. ZEST is only on 3 bases. This is maybe where this gets a little bit scarier, but now ZEST has realized, he's like, look, okay, I've taken a little bit too much economic damage. I can't win by just making void rays anymore. I got to get some Phoenix. And he's doing that. Four Phoenix at a time, plus 2 Phoenix with Andean Pulse Crystals are going to just shred these mutas. All right, but now a bunch of queens are going to start to get burst on down here as they try to retreat to creep. The Void Ray is doing a very good job of just kind of sitting on the edge of things so they can make the fight happen. Meanwhile, of course, DRG, he's got a lot of Zerglings trying to find their way on in to this base. And, well, that's one Zealot. Doesn't have any upgrades. It's not going to last all that long. Zealot is dead. Zest is not warping in, but it doesn't really matter. Actually, he's getting the gateway as well. So the Zerglings, once again, they're going to flood on into the natural means as well. The Mutas, they're going to try to take the fight onto the 3rd base here. Remember, the 4th base is dead, but Andean Pulse Crystal Phoenix means that this entire air fleet is dead, right? It's never going to be able to fight anymore. 11 workers have died for Zest, though. So he's really hurting on the economic position at this point. But the Mutas here and the Void Rays, and the Phoenix and the Void Rays, excuse me, these Mutas are dead. They don't know it yet, but it's never going to be positioned where they're going to be able to fight these Phoenix, not with the Andean Pulse Crystal. So really, it's just all from DRG trying to take the best fight possible, and he is doing that, by the way. He is up 35 supply, 35 army supply, excuse me, up closer to 70 in terms of total supply. And he's just making it rather hard indeed for Zest to really find the composition that he's very happy with. Now we got a bit of a concave here with the Hydras on the ground. This changes the calculus a good bit indeed. The Mutas are going, or the Phoenix are going to be able to target that down, but GG DRG, he's able to knock his ass down